welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and the Scarlet Witch's massacre in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was nearly even more vicious, according to a rejected version of Wanda's assault on the sorcerers at Camartage, shared by the film's fight coordinator Liang Yang. Now, this footage is what is called a stunt previz, in which the stunt team is given a script or a plot breakdown early in production or pre-production, and they use that to choreograph a version of a fight sequence, and then they edit it together with VFX and music in a previz, or a pre-visualization, to help the director conceive how it could look in the final film. And I think we need to explore this area of MCU filmmaking a lot more, because it is such a huge part of the way Marvel Studios assembles its biggest moments. These stunt teams are not given enough credit for crafting, in many cases from scratch, what fans will later appreciate as the most iconic visuals. The images that the studio will sanctify in future Marvel Studios title cards or other marketing fanfare. And while this Wanda stunt sequence didn't appear as is in the Multiverse of Madness theatrical cut, its DNA totally inspired other parts of the film in ways that you might not realize. So Liang Yang was the fight coordinator for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but is also the stunt coordinator for the upcoming film The Marvels. And as someone who's lucky to see the D23 trailer footage for The Marvels, the fight choreography of Kamala, Monica, and Carol working together looks so good. So this footage is what's called a oneer. It's one unbroken shot, and it depicts Wanda the moment she would have landed in the Camartage courtyard. Here, she levitates a few sorcerers and throws them to the ground. Then she enchants a katana of one of the sorcerers. Notice she doesn't enchant the sorcerer himself, as he continues to react to all of this, and then uses that blade to fight off two other sorcerers, cutting through one of them, and then, trigger warning, he brings that blade to his own neck all the way around it so that, he drops out of frame, and then she levitates his decapitated corpse and uses it to continue fighting two others. And we just gotta pause here to show some love for the understanding this shows of Wanda's sorcery and the limits of her power when she's fighting other sorcerers. She cannot completely take possession of their conscious bodies and spirits, which makes sense because they are trained sorcerers who were just commanded to fortify their minds by their sorcerer supreme, and fighting a sorcerer's soul requires a whole other level of combat in the astral plane. But Wanda can puppet their weapons and their corpses once their souls have parted from their bodies. So then Wanda dodges a blow and then uses her sorcery to stop a staff, and then, again controlling the weapon, not the person, redirects that bow into the other sorcerer. Then she twists that guy's neck and then enchants another sword to take down another guy, and then grabs that guy by the head and off screen gives him the Black Bolt treatment. And then she no-look grabs the final combatant, and then you can see the stunt team wired this guy so they could suspend him in air. And then another trigger warning here, she boxes in his limbs until his whole body just explodes. And you can totally see how this inspired the way Wanda suspended and unraveled Reed Richards' body until she reached his head and just popped it like a piñata. It's also similar to the gruesome move from another Marvel Omega level mutant, David Haller, from FX's Legion season 2 episode 6, when he kills a cop. Now, if you watch enough fantasy, you start getting real obsessed with bloodlines. If you want to lay a claim to a kingdom, having the right lineage is key. For most of us, our actual real-life bloodlines have nothing to do with royalty, but you can fill that gap in your heritage by making your own bloodline in Bloodline, a free mobile game on iOS and Android. Bloodline takes place in an awesome fantasy world with amazing graphics. You'll choose champions, find companions, and raise powerful offspring. You can customize your champions by marrying different bloodlines and building out your family tree until you find the perfect combo of abilities to suit your gameplay style. The bloodlines are so cool. There are the werewolf assassin Lycanus, the dragonborns of Karg, who can naturally turn into real dragons, and the demigods of Fulgur. My favorite, since they have the best area of effect skills, and I like letting everybody know how badass I am. If you can't wait to start making a unique lineage of your own, then download Bloodline by using my link or scanning the QR code, and you'll get a super rare half dragonborn, half demigod hybrid heir for free. You'll also get an exclusive starter pack worth $20 that has 100,000 gold, 20 intimacy packs, and 100 diamonds. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get started with Bloodline. Really, the more you dig into this whole world of stunt previs reels, the more you realize how much of the best MCU moments came directly from these stunt coordinators. Like, you can find a similar sequence put together by Thomas Robinson Harper and Chris Carnell for Captain America the Winter Soldier, with Bucky and Cap played by James Young and Sam Hargrave. Now, of course, Sam Hargrave went on to serve as Chris Evans' stunt double and a stunt coordinator for Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. And actually, he and his brother Daniel Hargrave did the stunts for the Cap versus Cap fight in Endgame. In fact, when Cap salutes America's ass, that's a Hargrave ass. And then the Russo brothers teamed up with Sam Hargrave and Chris Hemsworth for Sam Hargrave's directorial debut in Extraction and its upcoming sequel, Extraction 2. This is actually becoming more and more of a thing, where these stunt coordinators are so good at what they do, they're actually letting them direct big movies. David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2, was a stunt coordinator who worked on the John Wick films, because it requires that much understanding of action and where to put the camera and how to conceive these big moments that is a big part of directing these movies overall. Another pro in the stunt industry is Dave McCumber, who did stunts for Infinity Infinity War, Endgame, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he has definitely been one of the guys turning this whole process of stunt previses into fully realized sales pitches with fun editing, the effects, music, and intensity in the performances from the stunt actors. Macomber actually cameoed in Endgame as one of the sorcerers, and you can see in the reels that Macomber has released how his team choreographed Thor's arrival in Infinity War with Groot and Rocket, and a lot of the stuff in the Wizard duel with Ebony Maw, a lot of the best visuals from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, from the blood on the Captain America shield to the 2-on-1 fight in the penultimate episode when John Walker nearly rips off Sam's Falcon wings, and how Sam and Bucky use Johnny Mayonnaise as a bat to ram him into the shield and KO him, to the uses of Henry Jackman's score from Civil War. All these things had their roots in Macomber's stunt previs sequence, and some of the best things we saw in Endgame, including Cap wallowing Thanos with the combined attacks from Mjolnir and the shield, were all part of the stunt previs as well. So getting back to Liang Yang's brutal fight choreography for Wanda in Multiverse of Madness, there were reports of deleted sequences that would have involved more decapitation elements. Like, we know the original opening scene would have shown Wanda beheading Mordo, and last month the storyboard artist even confirmed Wanda showing up at Kamar-Taj with Mordo's head. And I definitely remember there being reports of Wanda puppeting a decapitated sorcerer at Kamar-Taj that was shot by Sam Raimi for this movie. Ultimately, the brutality of this sequence resulted in the imagery of Wanda slaughtering the Illuminati being as violent as it was, and I for one am very grateful for that. Like, she does cave in a bleeding Ultron Sentry head, and she uses her combatants' own weapons, like Peggy Carter's shield, against them. And as we all hope for the announcement of a Scarlet Witch solo title, this previs reel definitely makes an excellent proof of concept for what can still be done with this character. So what are your hopes for a Scarlet Witch solo film? You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Erik Voss. Follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.